Hold on. Think about this. 41 extra hours of work and less than 4% more in your paycheck to show for it. Picture a spreadsheet with 13 columns, one for each week of the quarter, tracking every extra hour worked, hoping it'll eventually turn into a bigger number on payday. So what's the result? Dozens of extra hours and almost no meaningful change. This is exactly where most people get the diagnosis wrong. They think, the harder I work, the more effort I put in, the more I'll earn. Wrong. That's usually not the real problem. Most people spend years asking where their money went. Almost nobody stops to ask where their time went. Because getting free from one paycheck isn't about discovering some secret. It's about solving 3 specific problems in the right order. First, build a skill the market actually values. Second, remove whatever's capping what that skill can earn. Third, build income that doesn't begin and end with one paycheck. The order matters. Stack a second income stream on top of a weak skill, and it stays fragile. Grow your income without shoring up what's underneath it, and your old habits just find more to spend. Add more work without changing the structure, and you end up busier without ever getting freer. So let's take these one at a time. The first question is obvious. What skill should you actually learn? Most people go looking for a list. Coding, sales, design, copywriting, automation. They want the one right answer that guarantees the future. That's the wrong way to think about it. There's no magic skill. There are only skills strong enough to solve people's problems, and valuable enough that people will pay to have those problems solved. A valuable skill usually does one of 3 things. It helps someone make money. It helps someone save time. It removes a problem that's causing them pain. Writing becomes valuable when it helps a business sell. Analysis becomes valuable when it leads to a better decision. Automation becomes valuable when it removes repetitive work. The category matters less than the problem it solves. This is exactly where people lose years. They get good at something because it looks impressive, but the market doesn't care about that. The market pays for the result the skill produces. A certificate can prove you studied. It can't prove you're useful. And being useful is what actually gets paid. The first 100 times you practice a serious skill, you'll probably struggle. You'll be slow, you'll make mistakes, and you'll realize how much you don't know. That's exactly how it's supposed to go. The market pays you once your skill works well enough that someone would rather pay you than solve the problem themselves. So before you spend 6 months learning anything, ask yourself these 3 things. Does this save someone time or money, or reduce their stress? Would a stranger pay even a small amount for this today? Can you get better at it every week without needing anyone's permission? If the answer is yes to all 3, you don't need the most popular skill in the world. You just need to stick with that one long enough to actually become useful at it. But then the second problem shows up. A skill can raise your value, but on its own, it doesn't automatically raise your income. Plenty of talented people stay stuck earning too little for years, without ever realizing what's actually limiting them. For most people with a marketable skill, the next income ceiling usually comes from one of 3 places: price, visibility, or leverage. Let's start with price. If you work for yourself, price is what you charge. If you have a job, price is your compensation, your salary, your role, and the value you can prove you create. The mistake is the same either way. The skill improves, but the number you settle for stays frozen. A freelancer becomes twice as good and still charges the same rate they started with. An employee takes on more responsibility, solves bigger problems, and quietly waits, hoping someone will eventually notice. Sometimes they do. Often they don't. Value that's never measured, explained, or negotiated is easy to overlook. Which brings us to visibility. A lot of talented people believe good work speaks for itself. Usually it doesn't. A customer can't buy from someone they've never heard of. A manager can't reward results they never see. Visibility doesn't mean shouting all day or turning yourself into a personal brand. It means making your work legible. Show the result. Explain what changed. Keep a record of the problem you solved, the time you saved, the revenue you created, the risk you reduced, or the process you improved. But staying invisible means your income stays stuck right along with you. Then there's leverage. Leverage changes the shape of your income. Without it, every dollar depends directly on your time. 1 hour worked, 1 hour paid, no hour, no pay. That can give you stability, but it also creates a ceiling. There are only so many hours available before work starts eating into the rest of your life. So the better question isn't, how do I do this faster? It's, how can 1 hour of my effort keep creating value after that hour is over? Sometimes leverage is a tool that does in 10 minutes what used to take 2 hours. Sometimes it's a process, a template, a product, or some other reusable solution. And sometimes leverage is simply refusing low-value work, so your limited time goes toward the work that's actually worth more. This is where your income starts to change shape. Not because the work disappears, but because the value it creates stops disappearing the moment the hour ends. Now, here's a better question to ask. Which one is actually holding your income back right now? Price, visibility, or leverage? Don't answer based on which one sounds the most interesting. Answer based on the wall you keep hitting. If you're already good at the work, but you're still earning roughly what you earned a year ago, or still charging the same rate, more visibility might just bring you more attention without fixing the actual problem. If your price is fair and the work is solid, but almost nobody knows you exist, learning another skill might just be procrastination wearing a productive costume. And if people already know you, trust you, and pay you well, but every dollar still depends on your direct time, the problem is leverage. The fastest way to waste the next year is to solve the wrong problem. Which brings us to the third part, building income that doesn't begin and end with one paycheck. One thing first. Before you build anything new, patch the obvious leaks in what you already have. Canceling a forgotten subscription won't make anyone rich. Saving money isn't a second income stream. But if your financial floor is full of holes, every new dollar you earn disappears through it faster. Patch the leaks first. Then build. Don't overthink the real first step. It's smaller than most people expect. Earn $1 outside your main paycheck. Not your first 1,000. Your first one. Why? Because that first outside dollar changes the question. Can I even make money outside my job? Once that money shows up, the question becomes, how do I do that again? Those are two completely different questions. That first outside income usually comes from a skill you can already use to solve a real problem. One small project, one client, one useful piece of work done for someone who needed it. It doesn't have to be passive. At the start, it probably won't be. But don't make the same mistake everyone else makes here. They want passive income before they've even proven anyone actually wants what they're offering. That's backwards. First, prove someone will pay. Then make part of the process repeatable. Could that same process become a template? Could something you keep explaining become a guide? Could a service become a simple package with a clear result? Could something you learned once become content that keeps helping people after it's published? The goal isn't to remove yourself from everything overnight. The goal is to stop rebuilding the whole machine from scratch every single time you earn $1. That's how a second income source starts to become real. Not by hunting for random side hustle ideas, by taking one proven skill and giving it a second form. Then comes the next step. Only once a real surplus exists should part of that money start working alongside your time. Nothing dramatic, no magic asset, no guaranteed return, no shortcut. Putting a small, steady amount into something built to grow over time won't feel exciting. That's exactly the point. The things that build lasting wealth are usually quieter than the things that destroy it. The goal isn't excitement. The goal is independence. And independence doesn't require 5 different income streams. You need at least one source outside your main paycheck that's real enough to actually reduce your dependence on it. One source that proves your entire financial life isn't hanging by a single thread. This matters more because the working world keeps changing. Prices shift. Job titles change. Companies restructure. Tools get better. Entire jobs that looked permanent a few years ago look completely different today. You can't control any of that. But you can control whether your financial life depends on exactly one engine. That's the system. Build a skill the market values. Remove the ceiling between that skill and your income. Use that skill to earn something outside your paycheck. Make part of that process repeatable. And once a real surplus exists, let time work alongside you instead of doing all the work alone. None of this is dramatic. Your first skill might feel clumsy. Your first outside dollar might feel too small to matter. Your first repeatable system might barely work. That's fine. Your first attempt isn't supposed to set you free. It just has to prove that freedom can be built. So here's what actually moves the needle this week. Pick one skill using the 3-part filter. Name the one thing capping your income right now: price, visibility, or leverage. Then build the smallest possible proof that you can earn $1 outside your main paycheck. Not an empire. Not 5 side hustles. One piece of proof. Because once you have proof, you can improve it. Once you can improve it, you can repeat it. And once you can repeat it, you're not depending on hope anymore. You're building a system. Tell me in the comments, which one's holding you back right now? Price, visibility, or leverage? If you know someone with a decent job and a decent paycheck who still has that quiet feeling that decent might not be enough forever, send them this video. And if you want to keep improving your financial life and move toward building real wealth, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.